Hi everybody, it's Becky here at Aunt Beck's Creations, and this is an impromptu live. So if folks show up, they show up. If they don't, everybody can watch the replay. And welcome to everybody that is watching the replay, and thank you for being here. If you ever come to one of my lives, my chat is set up for subscribers only, just to protect my subscribers from all of the awful bits that sometimes pop into live streams. So I came on because Journey, if I would show how I made my little pattern weights. Super, super easy, and it's a quick project. So I probably won't be on long, but I thought I would show how to make these. So I'm going to set these aside and we'll just get started. What you need is a bag of rice, cheapest rice you can get, because you're not going to eat it. You know, it's going to be what's inside these. Okay. Then they're made out of a 4-inch wide. We'll get rid of all of those. It's 4 inches by 8 inches. And then you need your sewing machine, thread, and all. So what you're going to do is just fold this in half, face to face, okay? And I'll put some pins in here. It's not really, necessary once you are past beginner stage of sewing. So I've got 4 cut out. So I'm going to make 4 of these to show you how quick these are. The only thing that's slower is sewing the opening closed at the end. That's how to stick these in, and maybe some more folks will come in, or everybody could be busy today. That's fine too. All right. It's about mealtime on a Sunday, I guess, 1 o'clock. You can watch it after you eat dinner. All right. So once you get your pieces folded in half, you're going to take them to your sewing machine. And where I've pinned these on each side, you're just going to sew down the sides. I would say to do a knot or a reverse at the beginning and the ending of, like, do a little bit of a reverse here and then do one here before you sew on to the next one. And I do these in a string form fashion where I feed one in right after the other. And I'm going to turn this light on, so it'll probably blast out the camera again, but I have to be able to see. All right. So, and I do like to use a leader ender, which is just a little scrap of fabric. I just find everything feeds through a little easier. I'm doing just a seam from the side of my presser foot, like there's a side of my presser foot here. My fabric is going to run right along the side. Let me see if I can get a better picture. Not really. Hold, please. I guess you guys can see under there now. But the side of the presser foot right here where my finger is, I'll keep shoving you around until I get you where you can see. And this is live and it's not edited, so it is what it is. So I'm going to start sewing. Hi, Janet. And I'll do a little bit of a reverse. That kind of locks the threads in, and I should have changed my needle to something smaller. I still have a denim needle on here. And I did a little reverse there at the end. Hi, Trish. And then I just sew on to the next one. And I need to snip this loose. So we're just doing some little quick pattern weights today. And this is very impromptu, so. It's a rainy day here, so I figured this would be the perfect project. And I thought those that would like some pattern weights, but you know, you're short on funds right now, but you have some fabric scraps. And rice is cheap for now. And I didn't really press this super good either. Get my leader ender back in here. Just sew off onto it. And we'll just snip these apart and I'll bring you guys back over here. Hi, Barb. There we go. Get rid of that shadow a little bit. All right, so now you got your little packs here. Now on the fold, there's a fold here. Before you turn this right side out, just snip a little bit off the corner, not through your stitching, off to the side, and that'll get rid of some of that bulk in the corner. So the corners will finish out better. And I'm sorry for the tapping, but that's how I protect my fabric scissors with one of Tanya's wonderful scissor charms. Scott's shopping Curiosity Inks video. He's on, get that, get that, get that. I think we're going to have to go thrifting because I think he's got the thrifting bug. I keep telling him, I said, you can do that when you retire. You can go find stuff and sell it on eBay. All right, and now you just turn them right side out. Just poke your corners out a bit. And if you've got one of those handy dandy bamboo corner turners, you can poke them out good with that. You just gotta, don't try to push hard because what happens is you just pop your seam. Just gently work the corners out. Yep, you can do that too. Just to have you a bunch of leader enders, which are, you can use just a piece of fabric like I do, but if you are a quilter, you can create a bunch of half square random triangles blocks, half square triangles, and just work them up. And then you have them for the next scrappy quilt you want to do, because all those half square triangles really take time when you're sitting there, you know, and that's all you're doing is one half square triangle block after another. But if you're doing it as you're sewing something else, just, you know, once you've sewn down both sides of the line on the blocks, you can cast them aside into a basket until you want to cut them apart and press them open. So that is an excellent idea too. And that would give you little blocks to have ready for a project too. I mean, you could quickly turn that into a piece of fabric by sewing the blocks together. And then you could make anything with it. You could make makeup bags, tote bags that are all quilt blocked. Isn't it wonderful that the world is full of ideas and that we're so willing to share our ideas with each other? I think it's awesome. Now I need to get some paper scissors because if I cut that plastic with my good scissors, I would have to knock myself around. All right. because I got to open that rice. Now, when you open the rice, don't open it all the way. Just open one little corner so it's like a funnel. Hang on just a sec. I meant to grab a pair of gnarly scissors for the plastic. Not my good scissors. I'll set those back over there in case. See, just cut off one corner of your rice bag. This is just cheap old Walmart rice. All right, and see how it makes like a little chute. Then you fill these as hefty as you want. This has got not as much rice as this one, but this one makes a better weight. I think I must have been running out of rice when I made this one, because these two are a lot fuller. You just want to, let's fill it up and I'll show you. Let me get this so it's making like a little thing. You just pour the rice in and all over the floor like Becky is. Let's cut some of this off here because I'm losing rice. Maybe that'll be better. I can pick that up, no problem. All right, I may have it too full. Nope, that's probably about right. Okay, now, just pick this rice up that I spoiled. Now the key to getting the shape, hi Janet, to get this shape, what you do, you're not going to just tuck, you have to tuck this edge over. And what you're going to do, I'm going to show you what not to do first. Don't just do edge to edge across from each other. You're going to open this up, turn your bag, and fold this over and match side seam to side seam. And that's how you end up with a little triangle. Let me get some of my magic clips here. Hi, Janet Nash. All right. Let's see, you can use a pin, but these clips are so much nicer sometimes. And then you just you're tucking in the 1/4 inch that you sewed on the sides. You're tucking it in. And then what you'll do is you'll do tiny little stitches across here to close it up. And voila, you have a pattern weight. And depending on how much rice you put in it, and you've got to leave room to be able to maneuver this fabric. So that's something to keep in mind. But depending on the amount of rice you put in is how heavy your pattern weights end up. And it is a little fiddly to get these to lay, to tuck them in and lay them flat and pin them or clip them in place. But then the hand sewing you can do in front of the TV. And you see how mine's sewed up there? I don't know if you can see, but I just did little stitches across. And if you have a female cat in your house, she'll think these are kittens, because if Callie gets a hold of these, she's never had kittens of her own, but she thinks these are kittens and she'll drag them around. It's quite hilarious. So again, let's fill another one up because I've sewn up 4. Might as well do all 4 of them. See how much rice I can hit the table with. Okay. If you have a canning funnel, that could help. Or if you have somebody that can hold this while you're doing this, it works too. You fill it almost to the top, but not quite, because you've got to have room to turn that 1/4 inch. So again, you turn your little bag so the 2 seams are facing each other. Then just tilt this in about a 1/4 inch. Tilt this side in about a 1/4 inch. Put the side seams together. And you want to tuck that in on both sides. I've been trying to think of videos I could do that are just quick little projects. So this is the first of some impromptus coming up. They're just quick little projects. Now, if you guys want me to take the time, I'll show you how I sew one of these up, but I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me sew all four. But I am going to make you watch me fill all four because I'm on a roll. Okay. Oh, wow, Trish. Isn't it a headache when you have to take your room apart and then put it back together? Once we get this bathroom project done, I have a big project in mind to help Scott get him a hobby space of his own here in the house. Just always remember to leave yourself some room to. Now, see, I didn't get enough in that. I can tell. See how much space is still in there? You need to leave it, fill it up so you're about 3/8 of an inch to a 1/2 inch from the top of the bag. That might be a little much. That might be too much. Nope, maybe not. Let's see. Remember, the heavier your bag, the heavier you want your pattern weight to be, the more rice you have to put in. But the only other, see, that's too much. See, I can't close it. So I got to pour some of this back in my bags and try not to make a mess. So I filled this one too full. So maybe 3/4 of an inch from the top is your max. Maybe the dog will eat all the rice that's on the floor. I don't know where she is right now. She was just here with me, but she might be in there following Greg around the kitchen. All right, pinch those side seams together, then tuck your... I go ahead and tuck my ends in before I put a clip on because I think it's a little easier. Okay. Now I can, and I'm still losing a few pieces of rice here and there because I think I'm still just a little bit too full. But I will also say it is easier to sew when it's nice and full because it's got the tension on the fabric, so you're not having to, maneuver it so much. Yeah, that construction dust. Watch my last video. You'll see. I know about construction dust. Scott's real good about cleaning up the construction. He spends a lot of time vacuuming it up at the end of each day, so we don't have to live with it quite as long. Today, he's putting an outlet in the hallway for me because I said it would be nice to have one there for, if I'm vacuuming or doing something. It'd be nice to have a plug in the hallway since there isn't any in the hallway. So he's putting one in for me. All right. This is the last one. And I may have cut too big of a hole in the side of my rice. This is part of my problem. Let's give it a tap down. Oh yeah, we still got some room. You'll know if you've got too much because you won't be able to close it. You won't be able to bring these two sides together. And then you'll know you've got too much rice in there. This one's pretty tight. And your pattern weights might turn out to be slightly different in size. Now, I have seen people, when they are doing one of the seams, they'll add like a beak and a comb like a rooster and sew that in with just little pieces of felt. So these look like little chickens. So they're easy to make. They are so easy to make. So if you want to turn these into little chickens, you just have to sew a beak maybe down about a half. Put a little beak sticking out, and then up here put a little comb, a little roundy bit of red, and you can have a little chicken, and then put little beads on the sides for little beady eyes. All right. So this is how I made the pattern weights. So all I got to do now is stitch them up. So let's stitch one. I've got my sewing needles in my little handmade piece together thingamabob here. I don't have, I might lay that piece of thread in there. It's kind of too big to really want to throw away yet. Okay, and I'm just going to snitch some thread off the sewing machine here. I need to redo my sewing machine. Oh, hi, Elise. We're doing the little pattern weights per Journey's request. So in review, they're super easy. You start with a rectangle that's 4 inches by 8 inches. If you want to do a wider one or a little bit larger one, you could do 3 inches by 6 inches, or 5 by 10. You know, what you choose the size you want your pattern weights. These work for unruly paper as well. Okay, I'm just going to do a double strand of this. I found my grandma's wax, so I'm just going to use it. I use this in memory of her. And I just draw my thread through one time. That's all you need. And then I just kind of warm it. And what that does is it keeps it from tangling, is the theory. And then when I tie a knot, I just wrap it around my index finger, roll the thread around itself, and then pull tight. And you made a little knot. Okay, I'm going to hide this knot inside. So I'll take off one of these clips, and I'm going to start in this end. So I'll just go down in the opening, down a little bit lower, and come out this other side here, just so I can hide this knot down inside. I'll tuck that tail down inside, and nobody will know that there's thread going in here if I'm lucky. All right, now I just do little tiny stitches because this is rice and it'll work its way out. So I'm going to just come up to the top of this, and I go on one side of the opening and just take a tiny little stitch. All right, and then I'm going to come to the opposite side, but step back just a little bit behind that stitch. And I'll take a little teeny stitch on the opposite side and pull it up. Then I go back to the other side and step back from where this stitch is on the opposite side here. I'll step back a little bit and just take a little stitch on the opposite side. And I just keep doing that all the way across. If you pull your string too tight, it'll draw it up. So you want to be mindful of that. And I know this is hard to see, but I'm hoping you'll get the gist of it. And you can just pull on the end and it'll straighten it back out flat too. Well, Curiosity ink must be done walking around the old apartment building because Scott's not saying anything anymore. Another inexpensive way to do pattern weights, well, it's not really anymore because the price of hardware is out the roof. But if you have like a granddaddy or somebody that's just got a bucket of hardware that you can go dig through, that they don't care if you snitch some, get some of those great big washers, the silver washers, the big ones that are heavy, and you can cover them with yarn. Just wrap it around and around and around. And you can make pattern weights like that. We might do that another day, so I can just show you what I mean. I've seen people do pattern weights with their polymer clay, which I don't know how heavy those would be unless you put something like a metal washer or something inside them. I took too big of a stitch that last time, I can tell. You want little stitches because you want to capture that rice forever and ever and ever. But this is the kind of thing, you can use. It's just plain old white rice is in here. You fold your 4x8 rectangle in half and sew down two sides. So you make like a little tiny tote bag or whatever. Once you've sewn down both edges, snip a little bit off the corner so that you're getting rid of that excessive fabric, and then turn it right side out. Fill it with rice until it's as full as you can manage, tucking in a 1/4 inch on the remaining open side. You'll know because you won't be able to bring them together. And then when you go to close it up, you don't do side to side. You do seam to seam like this. So there's a seam here and a seam here. You want those two brought together. And what that does is it creates this kind of triangle shape pattern weight. They're so easy to make and so much fun. Uh-oh. If you wanted to, if you know somebody that doesn't have fabric and you would want to send them a gift and they like to sew and could benefit from these, you could just do up the little fabric pouches, stick them in an envelope, mail them, and they could fill them with rice, because most everybody has rice in the house, right? And then they could stitch them up themselves, because not everybody can get out to a store. So any questions? And I knew this video wouldn't be for everybody, but I'm making it for Journey. So hopefully she'll see it. So I haven't seen her pop in. Or if you have a friend that likes to sew, you could make up 6 or a dozen of these and put them in a little box and give them to them as a gift. They make a wonderful little gift. I have a couple people in my family I'm thinking might benefit from some of these. I have some other sewers in the family. And they're cute in a basket. If you just stick them in, I've got my little denim basket down on my cart that I throw mine in. And then I can pull it out and take it to the table when I'm cutting things out that I just want to use pattern weights instead of pins. And you just keep taking these tiny little stitches until you've worked your way across the opening and it's closed. Oh, no, he's still listening to it because I heard him say something about it's Canadian dollars, not US dollars. Scott really enjoys that Curiosity Inc. young fella and his family. They're up in Canada. So I'm not seeing any questions, so I'm getting the idea that y'all get the gist of it. And I would encourage anybody, if you have any sewing related questions that I might could help with. I'm not saying I'm a professional sewer or anything like that, but I'm willing to go out there and look it up and learn it and then teach it to you if or do my best to teach something. I had thought about maybe getting one of those really old sewing books and maybe showing different seams and what they mean. And I know a lot of my viewers that might not be of interest, but I thought it could be fun to work our way through an old timey sewing book. Actually, use it for sewing. Yes, Curiosity Ink. They're awesome. I hate that house they got up there got trashed by the people that rented it. Really broke my heart that he had to start all over basically and repaint everything. And see, that's why I would never rent. Scott and I, when we rented, we always left the place in better condition than when we moved in. And most people think it's not their property. They don't care and they'll do all kinds of crazy stuff. So that's why we refuse to rent anything. I'm not up to that. Yep, I hear all kinds of deedly deets. Chelsea has a premiere in 30 minutes. If you don't watch Shell, you might want to take this chance to catch her video. It says it's going to be junk journaling on hashtag artsy second Sunday pastel tinted neon cat. And Shell does some awesome things. So I might sign off here in a minute so we can go catch Shell's premiere. I love Chelsea. I just love to watch her work. She does such beautiful paper collage. And I watched Anne and Carol for a little bit this morning. I had a really bad tummy, and I was going to come into the room with Anne, and then I decided I wouldn't be very good company. But I started feeling better after I sat some in front of my happy light. I've got when the weather's been as rainy as it is, I have this light. It's called a happy light. And I just sit in front of it for a few minutes, and it really does help. It really does help. If you have seasonal depression, a happy light is really beneficial. Or if you're in a lot of days of rain, it really does help. Her name is Shel C. It's Shel and then capital C. She's a mixed media artist, and she's in Arizona. And her art is beautiful. Her and Peg Robinson, they do a live together during the week. I don't always catch it because I'm watching somebody else. If only we could watch everybody we want to make sure we're there for, we wouldn't be able to do anything else. So I try to at least put her replays on in the background. So I tied a knot and I ran my tail inside a little bit. And now I have a new pattern weight. And this one's a really nice weight. So the fuller you can get them, the better. See, like this one doesn't have enough rice in it. It's real kind of limpy. But this is the ones that Callie likes to drag around. So I haven't opened them up and put any more rice in them because for the cat, you got to do things for the cat. So I will finish sewing these other 3 up. And I will have 3 more pattern weights. And I hope you guys enjoyed that and learned something. All right. And Janet just put the Chelsea's channel up. Okay. Thank you for doing that. All right. And Journey, there you go, hon. Now you got to get to work on some pattern weights. Oh, put catnip in it. Then they would drag them all away, and I would have to go all around the house looking for them. I just think it's hilarious that Callie thinks they're kittens. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope others will enjoy this little quick tutorial, and I will catch you on Wednesday night, if not before. Bye, guys.